When the light goes dim. 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 And welcome to When the Lights Go Dim. We're here live in Columbia, South Carolina at Cardinal Newman High School and with a very special guest of mine, Airese Curry. He's special because he played right here in Columbia, South Carolina at Richland Northeast High School, went on and played at Clemson University, and he had a stint with the Chicago Bears of the NFL. Welcome, Airese.
Appreciate you having me.
Good.
Good to see you, bro.
Good. We're happy to bring you on. We're going to ask you a few questions in our segments. And the first question I'm going to ask you, Airese, you were a very successful athlete. What were some of the things that made you successful? What were the things that stuck with you in your push to become the best athlete possible in your career?
Well, thinking back to it, or thinking back, just reflecting on childhood, one thing that I see a lot with our youth today is we played outside, man. We played outside all the time, whether it be village tag when my mother was stationed in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, meaning village tag. We played it on bikes. You know, I came by honest. My mother was fast, my father was fast, so I had the genes. I come from the genes, but just doing those sort of things where you playing bike tag in a village, just imagine a bunch of neighborhoods and you got individuals on bikes and you got individuals on feet. So if you're on feet, you racing, chasing a guy on the bike or a young lady on the bike trying to get that bike. So you can just imagine the type of speed training that you just doing, just playing outside every day. Things like that. PE classes, squat and reach tests, jump rope tests, mile tests, things that we did to condition our body that prepared me for things later on once I actually got into organized sports, and just the dedication and just the competitiveness that I had, that I came by naturally, and just the will and the want to win and be first in whatever it was I did, and just the work that you put in, you know, being when nobody's not looking at the shots. You know, basketball was my first true love, believe it or not. I started playing that when I was 5 years old, organized basketball. Kind of picked up football later on when I was back in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. But just those things, the hard work, if you were the fastest on the team, making sure you was at the front of the line or front of the pack when you doing your gassers and stuff at the end of the practice, and just leading by example, you know, just not wanting to win. I mean, not wanting to lose at all, whatever. We competed about everything, like going back to Northeast, track practice at Northeast, and it was like track. You know, we had so many great athletes and nobody wanted to be second in anything, you know, but my mindset was, once I set foot on that track, or I set foot on that field, I'm going to win, and that's what it was.
I believe you there, Airese, and what I want to know too is, who are some of those people that inspire you to be as great as you can be? Was there an athlete? I know at Northeast they had a guy by the name of Ryan Bethea that was really, really good back in my day when I played, and he went on to play college ball and into the NFL for a little while. Who was it that inspired you to be what you were?
Well, truth be told, I had a number of athletes that inspired me, and a number of individuals. I was a multi-sport athlete, baseball, basketball, football, the big three before I picked up track and became middle school days. But Ken Griffey Jr., I modeled my baseball game after Ken Griffey. Michael Jordan, when it came to basketball, of course, I think he's the greatest of all time when it comes to basketball. And Jerry Rice, when it came to football, that's who I modeled my game
Say
after.
no more.
Jerry Rice, you know, we're number 80 when I picked up tackle football when I was stationed in Virginia with my mother. So Jerry Rice, of course, my mother, she was an athlete. My father, my grandma, anybody that was in my corner that helped push me, and they seen the ability and the talent that I had in me. Coach Dave Walton, who was my first football coach in Virginia, Coach Kennedy, Coach Javis, Coach Fryer, Coach Mizell, a number of coaches, Coach Sweeney, Coach Stockstill, Coach Scott. A lot of those individuals allowed me to take my game to the next level and allowed me to evolve. Coach Drake, who passed away, God rest his soul, over in Chicago. Coach Lovie Smith, a lot of those guys that seen that talent in me just kind of helped get it out of me. A lot of those, I can go on and on. There was a lot of people that had their hands on my athletic career that allowed me to evolve as an athlete.
That is so important. What airese just said, I just listened to him at the long lineages of coaches that had a lot to do with how he structured himself. And if you don't know, if you haven't seen any clips from Airese Curry, this guy's speed is amazing. And once he catches the football, how he pulls away from the defenses, I mean, that just didn't come overnight. Could you tell us some of the things that you did to craft that talent of speed and burst that I saw in your career?
Track and field. Football athlete, if you play football, I would encourage you to pick up the sport of track and field. Like I said, I came by it honestly because a lot of it's just genetics, but you can develop it, those fast twitch muscle fibers, muscle fibers. And track along, once I came to Columbia, South Carolina, getting with Tucson Kennedy, Corey Head, and Coach Rowe and Coach Javis, they cleaned my form up because I was kind of wild, just raw sprinting talent, kind of swinging across my midline, but once they straightened me out and just really learned how to run from just participating in the sport, track and field, I really started taking off because I knew how to run. And still, to be honest, still to this day, I'm still learning how to run. So just being able to knowing how to apply that power into the ground, into the track, whatever it may be. That way, once you hit the open field, you can open up and pull away from individuals. And you know what I'm saying? I looked at it as a challenge. Somebody, they think they had an angle on me, I can go back and see all types of clips. Gotta have an angle. I'm hitting the sideline, I'm sliding on you.
Well, I love it. And what Airese is talking about is if you ever go and watch a clip from this guy, and when he catches the football, he pretty much he's not all out, his ball is not all out, he has the ball tucked in and he makes a clean break, he can control what he's doing with the ball and he just zips to the end zone. And that's what you're talking about, right?
Exactly.
And I'm a defensive lineman and I can pick up on how you had perfect control when you caught the ball and made those moves. Now, folks, we are live here at Cardinal Newman High School in Columbia, South Carolina. And again, I'm with my special guest, Airese Curry, and we'll be right back to When the Lights Go Dim for the next segment. I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you that watch this show When the Lights Go Dim. I want to ask you to continue to watch it, to continue to support it as we enlighten the public and society of what goes on in athletes' lives. We will soon interview Pokey Reese, world champion in baseball, Major League Baseball, and just want to take the opportunity again to thank you for tuning in and hope you continue to. We've accumulated over 1,000 views of our shows in a very little time and very little shows. Just continue to enjoy it and listen in. And again, we want to appreciate you for listening in. Take care. God bless. Hope to talk to you and see you soon. Here at Cardinal Newman High School, live in Columbia, South Carolina, with my very special guest, Airese Curry. Played with Richmond Northeast High School, Clemson University, the University of South Carolina, and the Chicago Bears of the NFL. I'm going to start this segment by asking Airese a question that many of us athletes, and myself included, went through. What was a dark side? What was a negative point of your career? What was something that took away from your career? Something that you could share with the youth that could help them steer away from a bad moment in your career?
I would say definitely the injuries once I got to Chicago. Never really sustained the injuries that I sustained, and they were soft muscle tissue injuries, but they kind of set me back and didn't allow me to excel and perform at the highest level of football possible that you could reach. Once I got there, it was a childhood dream of mine, you know, to reach the NFL or to play any type of professional sport. To be able to get there and not to be able to shine, because it wasn't about the money or anything for me. The money was just a byproduct. It was just I had the love for the game and the love to be able to compete and just compete like, oh, you the best DB. All right, we're gonna line up and we're gonna see about that. And to be at that level and not to be able to do it, it was very depressing and frustrating to me. So I always use the analogy of like being in the blocks. And the gunman has you up in a set position, but you can't run because he won't shoot the gun. That's the analogy I use for my particular experience when it came to the NFL. And things like while I was hurt, I should have did differently. Like I should have ate better. You know, I had a high metabolism. I pretty much could eat what I wanted to eat, and you know, and not see the effects, the negative effects were. My metabolism was so high. The fact that I worked out how I did in the weight room, but doing things that I shouldn't have been doing while I was injured, riding four-wheelers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that was my escape. That was my scapegoat to be able to get away. Because I was depressed at the time. You know what I'm saying? To be at that level and not to be able to play the game that I love so much, and it just seemed like when you injure anybody get tested, you don't feel like you're a part of that team. When you injured, all I could do was lift weights 4 days out of the week. The 2 years I was with Chicago, I was on injury reserve both times. I was on the 53-man roster, but I was on injury reserve both times, and it just fluke injuries in my opinion, you know, and that just, you know, didn't do the things I needed to do when it came to rehabbing and get myself back. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't go in the weight room or the training room and do those things, but outside of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way in the world I should have been on a four-wheeler ATV riding with a cast on. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it was what I wanted to do.
You know, and I know that those are some of the things that we athletes, we dare a lot. Mm-hmm. We're invincible. That youth part of our lives, we feel invincible. We feel like there's nothing that can hurt us. There's nothing can stop us from doing the things that we shouldn't do.
Right.
And tell the youth of America and society that's watching this segment here some of the things to stay away from. Some of the vices that came at you and came at me.
Right.
Share that with us a little.
I mean, if you're serious about your craft, the women, the late nights, the party. Not saying that it's not okay to go out and have fun here and there, but my particular body, let's say individuals that play sports, this is my office in a sense. This is my resume. So I need to do whatever it is I need to do to take care of that, make sure I'm getting adequate sleep at night. Make sure my nutrition is right. You know, make sure I'm just not out running the streets, because that's all added stress to your life. And the game of football itself, especially at that level, is already cutthroat and stressful enough. So why even add stress to your life when you already have it as tough as it is? So just, you know what I'm saying, doing the right things by people, you know what I'm saying. Not saying you might not chase here and there, but it ain't got to be nothing crazy or anything like that. You're gonna be young and you're gonna live and you're gonna learn, but just initially, just, you know, keep that thing moderate or whatnot.
Well, I tell you what, I can relate to what airese is saying, because a lot of the times we just will just do things because we feel like we're invincible at the time.
Right.
We'll do things just to test the dare. Mm-hmm. And with the alcohol, with the drugs, with the women, with the all kinds of vices that are out there, hanging around someone that you know is not good
right.
for you, someone that you know is doing something against the law. And those were things that I had that came at me.
Right.
And I think I was more of the villain to myself than I allowed those vices to be. But through it all, we was fortunate enough to sign that contract.
Right.
And we'll be right back at Cardinal Newman High School for the next segment of When the Lights Go Dim. And I'm here with my guest, airese Curry, and we'll be right back.
We appreciate you for liking our page on Facebook. DOYHAE TV Network is on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button and you can watch your favorite shows anytime, any place on YouTube channel, DOYHAE TV Network.
And we're back of When the Lights Go Dim, and we're with Airese Curry live here at Cardinal Newman High School in Columbia, South Carolina. This next segment, Airese is going to tell us a little about the moment he got drafted and what it felt like, all of the hard work he put in, and then what he's doing now for society that will contribute to his career and what he's doing right now.
Reflecting back, draft day, I remember it was like it was yesterday. I remember going to Indianapolis, currently doing combine right now. Felt like it was in the meat market. Coaches looking at you, standing up in front of coaches, and all kinds of scouts, and having to go to the hospital and do MRIs. I remember the first thing I get off the airplane, MRI, straight to the hospital. Both legs, knees, feet, they just want to check to see what they investing their money into. And the day of, I found out the following day at the combine that I had a fracture in my foot. At the combine, I found that out. So yeah, I forgot who it was that found one of the dots they found. So I was like, all right, still worked out. Ran a 4.49 and a 4.54, 38.5-inch vertical on a fractured foot. Turned around, ran a 4.3 at Clemson's Pro Day with a fractured foot. While I was at the combine, Kansas City, I had 3 formal meetings: Kansas City, Atlanta, and Chicago. So basically that is teams that are genuinely interested in drafting you. So Kansas City suggested that I have the surgery on my 5th metatarsal, which is what they found the fracture in prior to the draft. So I did that. So now I'm looking at anywhere from 2nd round to 5th round pick. And so the day of the draft comes and I'm looking at guys that get drafted. Round 1 goes by, all right, round 2 coming, so now my hopes are getting done. Round 2 goes by and comes, I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Round 3 goes by, I'm like, man, bump this, I ain't watching this no more. So I was like, I guess it's gonna be the 5th round. Day 2 came around and I remember we had a little gathering at my mother's place here in Columbia, and the phone rang. It was Lovie Smith, the Chicago Bears on the other end. Jerry Angelo, who was GM at the time, was like, hey, we wanna sign you. And just that moment, at that particular moment, it was confirmation. What I had already knew anyway, it was like, man, you made it. And just to be a Chicago Bear, and I was just so thankful and blessed for the opportunity that Chicago gave me. So, childhood dream come true.
That I can relate. I went through a little different, Airese. Could you imagine waiting until the complete draft is over?
I can imagine.
And then getting a phone call from New York, and it's Ray Hanley on the phone saying your coaches spoke highly of you, and we feel like you deserve this opportunity. So I can relate. I would have been a little more excited if I had gotten that call in the 5th round like you did. But Airese, tell us, what are you doing now that can relate to all of the experiences you had in your athletic career and what it means to you to do it?
Well, currently I'm a sports performance coach. I have my own sports performance company that I started a couple years ago. I recently came back to Columbia and partnered with one of my former teammates that I ran high school track with. Superstar Sports Performance is the name of the company. So we train athletes of all particular sports, help them get more explosive, more agile, quicker, and faster. So that's what we're working on as far as giving back to the youth and the community in that sense. That was one thing that I knew I always wanted to do, even when I was at Clemson, that I had that entrepreneurship mindset that I wanted to own my own company, business type deal. I didn't want to work for anybody. I'm not saying that I haven't done it over the years, but I just knew that was always the end goal. Didn't know what that looked like while I was playing ball, but while I was pursuing the NFL, once I got released by Chicago, my trainer, mentor, a good friend of mine is Ewan Gordon. He's a trainer. He's out in San Antonio now. I expressed to him, I was like, this is what I want to do when I'm done playing football, when I decide to hang my cleats up. I was like, I want to train individuals. I want to help those individuals reach whatever levels they desire to reach in their athletic career. So that's what we're doing at the moment, training athletes here in the Columbia area, surrounding areas who will come to you. You know, and if you're serious about your craft, we're the individuals for you, because we don't just want to train anybody, because if it's worth your time, make it your best time, because I don't have time to waste. You know what I mean? I don't have time to waste. And if you don't want to be out here genuinely, I don't want you out here. So that's what we're doing.
Who are you training now? You're training college athletes, high school athletes, pro athletes, anyone that comes, basically, correct?
Anybody that comes we're training them as young as 5 on up to pro. You know, Denzel Johnson is with us right now. He's a former safety, he played at Clemson. Tyler, he played linebacker at Youngstown State. I'm helping those individuals get ready for their upcoming pro days next month. So just to name a couple, but we'll train anybody.
That's fantastic. Airese, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you. I know it was very hard getting Airese because his schedule is so busy and he's doing a lot. But we just want to thank you for interviewing with When the Lights Go Dim. And until the next time, we'll see you. And we're live again from Carmen Newman High School, Columbia, South Carolina, with our special guest, Airese Curry. Until next time, take it easy.
Appreciate that, bro. Have a look forward to it.